does a battle sound like? A battle in war? Well, of course, nowadays, a battle has all the sounds of guns and bombs and landmines and explosives of every kind. But once upon a time, no guns, just the sound of men fighting hand to hand. They use spears and swords, and sometimes they use fists, but that was all. You'd think a man would have to be big and strong to fight a battle, wouldn't you? Well, you're going to hear a story now about one warrior who wasn't very big at all. In fact, was scarcely a man, but still a young boy. And yet, when he finally got the chance, he proved he was as good as any man. This is the story of David and Goliath, and it takes place long ago, during the time the Israelites, the children of God, were having trouble with the Philistines. We'll let David tell the story himself.
For a long time, my people, the Israelites, were at war with the Philistines. In my home, many times, I heard my father say,
"Go, my son, and fight for our people and for our king."
And then one of my brothers would go, and the rest of us would remain behind. Then later, my father would call another one of my brothers aside and say,
"Go, my son, and fight for King Saul and for our people."
And each time that happened, I hoped that my turn would come next. But I guess I should have known better. Finally, all my brothers had gone off to war, and I didn't feel too happy about it at all.
What's the matter, David?
The Philistine armies are camped at Shoko,
I know that.
and I'm here.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean I should be off there with all my brothers.
Oh, is that it? Well, now, David, put it out of your mind. I need you here to tend our sheep.
King Saul and his army need me. What are you laughing at?
I'm sorry, David, my boy. I didn't mean to laugh. But you are too young, you know.
Too young to fight in God's own army?
Yes. Too young and too small.
Father, why don't you let King Saul be the judge of that? Why don't you let me go and offer to fight for him? If he says I'm too young, why then...
No. No. I'm trying to have patience with you, but I'm sick of your asking all the time to go off to war. You get out in the fields and tend the sheep, and let me hear no more about war.
One of the Lord's commandments is honor thy father and thy mother. So I didn't argue any longer. I went out into the fields and tended the sheep. But sitting on a hillock with a blade of grass in my mouth and my shepherd's crook in my hand, I still dreamed of being a soldier. I would have been even more anxious to be a soldier if I'd known what was going on in the camp of the enemy, the Philistines.
What's so funny, Goliath?
The Israelites, Captain.
I'm glad you find the enemy funny.
There they are, camped over there, and here we are, camped over here. And you'd think the way everyone is bustling about, shining up his sword, that there was going to be an even battle.
Isn't there?
Well, look at me. Look. What do you see?
Well, I see a giant.
Have you ever seen anyone taller?
No.
Give me your sword, my captain.
Here.
No! It's in two pieces. Did you ever see anyone stronger?
No.
Can anyone in this army beat me?
No.
Can anyone in the Israelites' army beat me?
No.
Then, my captain, why don't I win the battle single-handed? Why don't I go out there on the field between the two armies and challenge their champion?
Well,
It's been done before. The two champions come together and fight. Nobody else has to be hurt. And the winner wins for his whole army.
Goliath, this may be an excellent idea. Let's go to the king with it.
And a short time later in the other camp, the camp of the Israelites, my own brother Eliab was speaking with King Saul.
The men are ready, Your Majesty.
You mean their swords are polished? Their armor is ready?
Why, Yes, sir.
Are their hearts ready?
I don't know what you mean, sir.
The men know that there are more Philistines than Israelites, don't they?
Yes, sir.
Then aren't they afraid that we won't win?
Well,
How about you, Eliab?
I'm afraid of it. Yes, sir.
I thought so. You see, I'm afraid of it myself a little. I've been wondering. Sometimes two armies send their champions against each other. You've heard of that?
Why, yes, sir. Two men fight, and the winner wins for his whole army.
Yes. Now, if we can get the Philistines to agree to that, it may be the only way out for us. Have we a strong, stout, fearless lad?
Israelites, King Saul, all of you over there.
What's that?
Look! There in the field between the two armies.
It's a giant.
Listen to me. My name is Goliath of Gath, a Philistine. Choose a man and let him come down to me. If he will fight with me and kill me, then the Philistines will be your servants. Wait! But if I prevail against him and kill him, then you shall be our servants and serve us. Well, what do you have to say, Israelites?
You, Goliath!
Is it King Saul calling?
Yes. We've heard what you said. We will think about it.
All right.
Well, the idea I had is not very good. We certainly don't have any champion who can beat Goliath.
And all this time, I was tending the sheep at home. But at noontime one day, my father came to me.
David, my son.
Yes, Father. What are you carrying?
Food.
Well, here, let me take it. Well, that's a great deal more food than you and I need.
Yes. You're going to get your wish. You're going to go to the camp where your brothers are.
I am?
Only on an errand. Take this food to them. I have here a great quantity of parched corn and 10 loaves of bread and some cheese.
Will I leave right away?
Yes. I'll tend the sheep while you're gone. You see, I am worried about your brothers. I'm afraid that they and their companions may be hungry. The fathers of other soldiers are sending food, too.
Oh, I'm glad.
Find out how your brothers are, David. I'm anxious about them. God go with you, my son.
Really, I should not have run as fast as I did, especially when I was carrying such a heavy load of food. But I was filled with the idea that at last I would see an army encampment, that I would mingle with the soldiers, that I would see my brothers. And so I hurried. And when I got to a hill overlooking the two armies, there they were in the midst of battle. From where I stood on the hill, I could see that there were many more Philistines than Israelites. And for the first time, I felt afraid that we would lose to the enemy. I ran down the hill as the armies drew apart, and I ran through the ranks of our soldiers until I found my brother Eliab.
David! David!
Eliab!
My little brother.
Eliab.
This is no place for a young boy like you. Did our father send you?
Yes, but only with food, not to fight.
Oh, I'm relieved.
Eliab,
Yes, little David.
how is the fighting going?
Well, our men are brave.
We're losing, aren't we?
Perhaps we won't. Perhaps a miracle will happen.
Men of Israel, you, King Saul, you, soldiers of Israel.
Eliab, that man is a giant.
Yes, I know.
It is I, Goliath of Gath again. Well, have you chosen your champion? Who will fight me?
What's he talking about?
He wants one of us to fight him, and the winner will win for his whole army.
Well, that's a wonderful opportunity, Eliab.
Well, I don't see an Israelite champion coming forth to meet me.
How I wish we had someone who could beat him.
I can beat him.
Oh, stop talking nonsense, David.
If somebody beat that Goliath and killed him, he'd be richly rewarded, wouldn't he?
Why, of course. The king would make him rich, and he'd marry the king's daughter, if he wanted. But nobody can beat Goliath.
Well, who is Goliath? Who is this Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God? I can beat him.
So why did you come here? Who is tending the sheep back home? Really, you shouldn't have come. You came just to see the battle. I know what you're like, David.
What have I done? Isn't there a great cause here?
There is indeed, young man. Eliab, who is this boy?
My brother, David, Your Majesty.
Your brother, David. David, I heard you say you could beat Goliath.
I can, sir. I am your servant, and I will go and fight him.
Quiet, David. You're too young to fight anyone.
You can't fight Goliath. You're just a child, and he's been a man of war from his earliest youth.
Your Majesty, once I was tending my father's sheep, and a lion and a bear came and dragged a lamb out of the flock, and I went after them and hit them until the lamb went free. And then I killed both the lion and the bear. And this Philistine Goliath will be like one of them. He has defied the armies of the living God, and I will beat him.
Don't be foolish, David. He's a giant.
The Lord that saved me from the lion's paw and the bear's paw will save me from the hand of Goliath.
Young man, I think I'll let you go to meet Goliath, and the Lord be with you.
Thank you, sir.
You may have my armor and my
Oh,
sword.
no. No, thank you, sir. I've not proved myself with sword and armor. All I'll need is my sling here and 5 large, smooth stones from the brook. I'll go and fetch them.
No, David! No, come back! You'll be killed!
Let him go. Let the boy go.
And when I had got the stones from the brook, I was about to start toward the field between the 2 armies, when once again I heard the voice of Goliath.
Israelites, send me your champion.
I'm coming, Goliath!
Who's speaking? You, a child? Is there not a man brave enough to face me in battle? What's the matter, Israelites? Must you send a boy to protect you? All right, come on, boy. Come on if you dare. I'll give your flesh to the birds of the air and the beasts of the field.
You're coming at me with a sword, Goliath, and a spear and a shield. But I come at you in the name of the God of the armies of Israel, and I'll knock you down and kill you. And then everyone here shall know that the Lord saves not with sword and spear.
On guard! I'm coming!
He began running toward me, and I could hear the armies on both sides shouting. And I walked quietly toward him. And as he raised his spear,
Look out, David!
I put one of the stones in my sling. And suddenly there was silence. And I slung the stone from my sling. He went down, but got up again, and once again raised his spear. And I slung another stone. He did not get up this time. When I went to him and examined him, I turned and I called out the good news. Goliath is dead! I had beaten the giant Goliath. The Lord had stayed with me and guided my hand. And now the armies of the Lord were saved.
David was not afraid because he had faith in the Lord, and so he beat the giant. It's an exciting story. But it's a story that tells us how wise it is to have faith in God and to fight on the side of right. This wonderful story is in the 1st book of Samuel in your Bible.